All right, hey everyone. Hello, hey everyone. I guess we're live now. This is my first live streaming on YouTube. I've never done the live streaming before, so thank you for joining us. I thought streaming before, so thank you for joining us. Uh-oh. I thought streaming before, so thank you for joining us. Okay, I'm gonna just turn off the. Looks like there was some feedback there, so I'm gonna turn off the audio, and that'll probably solve the problem. Also, the internet has kind of been like hit or miss at this place I'm staying at. So I'm really hoping, I have my fingers crossed that the live stream the live stream will work out okay, that the signal won't be interrupted or anything like that. So, but if the signal is interrupted, just leave me a comment, and go ahead and leave me a comment where you guys are watching from. I see some familiar names in the comments already. Gifted Green, of course, first comment. A little bit of sass there, but also D Walker, always leaving a nice comment as always. Appreciate seeing you guys, and órale, hola, ¿cómo estás? I appreciate seeing you guys in the room. So, yeah, so we're a minute. Okay, cool, great, thank you, Chuck. Hey, Chuck, thanks for commenting. I kind of know that the videos working and that it is actually live, that you're commenting, so that's good. I said, right, yes, Chuck, I know, yeah, I'm actually going to respond to your email. That was one of the things that I wanted to do in this live stream, so thank you for that idea. I'm going to respond to your email, kind of give a react to it, and give some thoughts I had. So thank you, thanks Chuck for sending that email and helping this process along. That was really good. Yeah, Finn and I should do a collaboration. I think he's going to be coming to Mexico at some point in the near future. He was in Mexico not too long ago. So yeah, it'd be awesome to meet up with him. We could do a collaboration, explore some of Mexico together. That'd be really, really cool. So yeah, I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna give it a couple minutes. We're already 2 minutes in. Binks is oversleeping. I guess just in the meantime, I just want to give it a couple minutes. I guess in the meantime, show you guys Binks. The co-host of the show is sleeping. But yeah, I'll just give it a few minutes to give people a chance to come in. Oh, okay, I see. So thanks everybody for your patience on this. This is my first live stream, so I've never done the live stream before, so it's just kind of a new experience for me. And yeah, just figuring out how all these functions work on the internet, this new invention called the internet. So appreciate it, and we'll just get going here in just a couple minutes. And I think what I'm going to start off doing is reading that email that Chuck sent and kind of responding to the email a little bit. Chuck wrote me an email a few months back. I guess he was saying in March it was. I think I was in Tuxtla at the time. So I got that, and yeah, it'll be a good starting off point. And I've also prepared some stuff, just some talking points that I have here on the computer. Talk about temporary import permits, insurance in Mexico, driving in Mexico City, standard device. Oh, you're right. So driving during the daytime and staying on toll roads, buying gas, things like that. So we'll try to keep it as informal as possible. If you guys have any questions, please, don't hesitate to ask, any questions or, anything that you're that's on your mind. I really appreciate everybody's support with the channel. I appreciate your questions, and yeah, I appreciate the dialogue. So let's just have some dialogue, and I'll try to tell you guys a little bit about, just driving in Mexico. I'm, not a lawyer, so I can't give you legal advice about driving. I'm not, I'm hesitant to call myself an expert, but I've been driving around Mexico for about the past 2.5 years now. I've been taking my camera along for the past 1.5 years, making the YouTube videos, and first is starting to explore out around just small towns around Guadalajara. I was living in Guadalajara for a little bit, for a couple years. The first 2 years I was in Guadalajara. And so I started the channel about a year and a half ago and just started making videos around there. I went to Puerto Vallarta as well, and just Aguascalientes, all different places. So again, like, you know, I'm hesitant to say I'm an expert, but I haven't spent as much time driving in Mexico as I have the U.S., but I spent a considerable amount of time driving. So I just want to share, my experience, and that's what I have to offer you guys, is my experience. And there definitely are a few things that you should take into consideration if you're coming down and wanting to bring a vehicle in Mexico and driving in Mexico. A lot is the same, but there are definitely some differences between driving between Mexico and the United States. So, all right, we're 5 minutes in. Howdy from Fort Worth, my sister city, and from Dallas originally. So how's it going, Fort Worth? Good to hear from you. All right. So what I think we'll do is let me get a drink of water. Okay. So what I'll start out doing before we get into like the different talking points that I had is that Chuck sent me an email a couple months ago, and I'm just going to respond to the email and so let's just dive in. So he says, topics I would like to see addressed in no particular order. So first point, dealing with Mexico's, actually, I'm just going to move this over so I can see the screen and chat screen while I do this. I don't need to see my face, but having the chat screen open would be helpful. All right. And again, if you guys have anything to add to the conversation or chat or questions or anything like that, don't hesitate to throw that to comment. So, okay, dealing with Mexico's highway signs, which are vital, important to know. They are. They appear to me to look more European than U.S. highway signs. Okay, so yeah, I mean, highway signs, it's kind of like anything in Mexico, really, any law in Mexico. It's like any law, which is just a suggestion. I mean, it's kind of, it might be, sound harsh, it might be harsh to say, but I mean, it's kind of true. There are signs, I guess, it's like the US, there's speeding all over the place. But especially in the cities, it's just more chaotic. It's a more chaotic feel. So I don't really know exactly like what signs there are. Yield signs. Again, it's just kind of like just like the rest of Mexico. Mexico has like all the things. They have all the laws, all the signs. So they're all pretty much the same. But I think that this is kind of like the point that I wanted to mention, or one of the points that I wanted to mention, is that we can talk a lot about Mexico, and we can just talk about like the temporary import permits and things like this. But really, until you like come down to Mexico and you're driving around the country and driving around the different cities, you really just have to get a feel for it. And because Mexico can be more chaotic. It's a more chaotic place. And again, they have like all the rules, the laws, and all the things. They have everything, but it's just, whether it's because of corruption with the police. Hola, Larry, ¿cómo estás? Bien, yo bien. ¿Cómo estás tú? But whether it's because of the corruption or because, whatever reason, it's just, it's more chaotic. And I think Mexico is just more chaotic in general, whether it's traffic laws or whatever the case may be. So, but it's kind of a cool chaos. It's kind of like it's kind of an interesting point, because America's all about freedom, but then quote unquote, but then you come down to Mexico and you have a different type of freedom. And it's just kind of like a more chaotic freedom. And so, I guess that's the point about the highway signs, or at least it's a good point about driving on the roads. It's more chaotic, more free. And it does take a little bit of getting used to. It took me a little bit of getting used to. So next point, dealing with driving in Mexican cities, large and small. Things like knowing where you're at, street names, buildings, house numbers, where to look for traffic lights. Traffic lights are pretty much the same. Green means stop, green means go, yellow, red means stop, yellow means hurry up. And and their position pretty much the same as well. So what else? Okay, the stop sign, right, and traffic signs like stop, yields. I haven't really seen too many yield signs. It's just kind of like on your own precaution. Just be, just be as alert as you can. You really just do need to be as cautious as you can driving in Mexico. All just throughout the cities, throughout the just throughout the cities, throughout the country. Yeah, that would be a big recommendation on my point. It's just to be cautious because, like I mentioned before, it's more chaotic. So it's just really, you just really need to not expect anybody to be following the laws. I mean, you need to be cautious wherever you're driving, right? But really just double cautious here in Mexico, and especially if you're coming from the United States or another country and you're just used to different systems, and you're just used to ways of driving. I mean, it'd be like, you're used to driving in New York and then you move out to a small town in rural Kansas or something. It's just going to be a different style of driving. And you come down to Mexico and it can be quite a bit different. It can be quite a bit of a shock. And, when I first came in, it was like I crossed over the borders. The highways were a little bumpy, and they had the highway. They often still have like 2-lane highways, but then people will kind of go to the sides a little bit to create a third lane for passing. So you kind of have to know how to navigate that. And yeah, it's just about just being cautious and trying to learn how to navigate the new system that you're in. So if you're coming to Mexico for the first time, just be really cautious, because defensive is safe when you're first coming, and then from there you can join the crowd and maybe go through some of the stop signs, and a la verga, con lo que sea. Just gotta just do whatever, not do whatever you want, but just relax a little bit once you settle in some. So let me get to some of these comments. There's the law, but there's also knowing what signs I need to understand so I don't get right. And yeah, I just can't, tell you exactly what signs you need to. Maybe you could Google like driving signs in Mexico or señales de la vía, maybe is what it would be called. And then there could be a list of signs, but there's really a lot that you just have to come down and you have to experience, and then you have to just learn for yourself. But it is good. It's a good thing that you're beginning the process of getting informed, and maybe you did Google Maps before before you've come down, and you've kind of like given has echado un vistazo a las calles. You've kind of like taken a look at the different roads on Google Maps. That's a really good thing. Vistazo a las calles. You've kind of like taken a look at the different roads on Google Maps. That's a really good thing. I was thinking about getting into that, but I'll go and get into that now. I haven't had a car accident. What do you do in the situation you're in? What do you do in that situation in your country? Well, I mean, I've in the U.S. I have been in a car accident. In Mexico, I have not. Thank God. It's handled from what I understand in Mexico, it's handled a little bit differently. And let me go ahead and move up to that. So it's handled a little bit differently. And from what I understand, the police, I guess it would be the same as the U.S. in that way, that like the police are only called if there's like bodily harm, and I think that's the same as the U.S. But what's different in Mexico is that the cars stay in place. The drivers don't really exchange insurance information like in the United States. Like if you get into a car accident, the drivers will exchange car insurance information, right? You get into a minor accident, there aren't any injuries, you exchange insurance information, your driver's license, and you go about your day. In Mexico, well, thank you, Dee. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that donation. Thank you, Mexico. The insurance companies will come. You won't exchange car insurance information with the other driver and then just leave the scene of the crime. You'll actually call your insurance company, and then the insurance company will send a representative, and then the insurance company in the place will actually determine who was at right, who was at fault, who was in the right. So yeah, it's a little bit different. If you don't speak Spanish and you're getting car insurance, I just try to, get that also, just have that all in your mind. Just try to be just ask your representative about, what you really need, what you need to do if you get into a car accident. I put my car insurance information, or the company, not my car insurance information, but I put the company that I have, which is AXA. And there are lots of different companies out there. It's just the one that, I have, I'm happy with. They've been professional. And so I can talk to the representative, and I can, I have a number. If I get into an accident, in my billetera, my wallet. Thank you, Jorge. Thank you so much. Pepito. Yes, I went. Oh, thank you. Loved your video. I love that. Thanks. I'm really proud of that video. Thank you so much. That was really awesome. If you haven't seen the Pepito video, it was like an awesome experience visiting Doña Queta. And yeah, I'll just remember that forever. So thank you, Jorge. But yeah, back to the insurance. I get distracted with these chat, but it's good. So I have like a number I would call, and if I get into a car accident, I'll call the number. They'll send a representative. Not everybody in Mexico has insurance, just like the United States, probably less so in Mexico. So you just need to, just do your part, have the insurance. And if you get into a car accident, maybe you could take out your camera, start, filming in a very, very respectful way. Don't, go all postal gringo US on it, and just like be righteous or whatever. Not a good idea. It will get you very, for like documentation's sake. And, call your insurance company. So that's what my advice would be for if you get into a car accident while you're driving in Mexico. So yeah, I put the link to the insurance below in the, let me just check on the time. Put the link to the insurance below. So it's a good company to check out. I recommend them. They've been really good. It's also a lot cheaper than the United States. I don't really remember how much I'm paying for my Jeep here in insurance, but I know it's cheaper. It's got to be at least like 25% cheaper. Okay, thank you for letting me know that my feed is breaking up. I'll keep trying at this feed. It's really not much I can do about the internet, but thanks Chuck for letting me know. Please let me know if the signal is good, or how the signal is right now. If somebody's watching, if you guys are watching, can you just let me know what the signal is like on everybody's end, so I can kind of like get an impression of how the signal is doing. All right, but I'll keep going. Go on. So, okay, navigation tips. Can you just use Google Maps or Apple Maps like you would in the US? Okay, great. Thank you so much. Good. Thanks for letting me know about this signal. And if it breaks up, let me know about the signal too. No, it's probably my end as well. It's just the internet here has been pretty spotty, so I'll just try to keep going. Thank you guys for your patience, and thanks for letting me know it's good or bad and all that stuff. So about the Google Maps, yeah, you can use Google Maps. Yeah, and the only caveat I would say about the Google Maps is that you just research your route beforehand. Whenever I've been like going from place to place, and I'll do like a day-long drive, So say like I'm going from Merida to Villahermosa, for example. You know, what I'll do is I'll look it up both on the Google Maps on the internet, and I'll also do it on the phone, on the maps on my phone. And when I'm driving, I'll do that because like when I'm driving, I'll follow the Google Maps on my phone, but sometimes they'll like give different routes on like the maps on the internet. So like if I just look it up from both ways, I can figure out the best route. And so like sometimes it's a little bit difficult because like I guess like one I'm thinking of is like I was going from Merida to Ciudad del Carmen, I think it was. I was going someplace, and it ended up rerouting me through the entire like central part of the Yucatan Peninsula, and it wasn't like a big deal. It just added about like an extra hour or maybe 2 hours to the drive. I didn't really notice it that much because like enjoying the drive, I was like, you know, is in the middle of the Yucatan Peninsula. The original route was along the coast, and I guess I originally realized it because I was like, went into Chiapas. It's like, why didn't, you know, on the routes, it wasn't, you know, taking me to Chiapas. But, you know, and then I'm like, well, there's supposed to be coast. I didn't see any coast. But yeah, so it ended up taking me like straight through the middle of the Yucatan Peninsula, and like an entire matter too much in the end. But it was all because of there was a bridge that on one map said it was closed, but in actuality it was not closed. So to avoid that, once I knew that, I found that out. I did some research on like the Facebook groups when I was going back north, when I was going out of the Yucatan. I just kind of like adjusted the route on the phone, and so I could, you know, just continue with the route, the quicker route along the route, along the coast. So so yeah, the route along the coast. So so yeah, I'll look at some of these comments here. Nice in Mexico 2017, there are speed bumps. Yes, speed bumps they are heavy speed bumps. They go from anywhere from, you know, just very minor soft speed bumps to so that, yeah, you're talking about the speed bumps, and they go from very minor, just light speed bumps to very very heavy speed bumps, and they can actually do quite a bit of damage to your car. You know, I have the Jeep, so I don't have to worry about it too much. But still, I mean, if I'm going, you know, off a highway, and so that's like one of the reasons actually that they don't recommend to. One of the reasons that they recommend not to drive at night is because if you're getting off of the highway, and they'll put these speed bumps at the end. And so they really want you to slow down. So a good idea is, and if you're just, and it's dark and you don't see the speed bump, you can really do some serious damage. And even if, you know, even with my Jeep and I'm going 40 miles an hour over the speed bumps, it could, I mean, potentially it could flip the Jeep. And so yeah, you definitely want to keep an eye out for the speed bumps. They're not always marked. Sometimes I've definitely had instances where I've gone over the speed bumps. I didn't know there was a speed bump, but then, you know, your head goes against the roof of the car. It's like, oh my God, dang, there was a speed bump there. So yeah. Hola, tu canal siempre va a ser de México, vas a viajar a otras partes. I would like to, so is my channel going to ever be, is it always going to be in Mexico, or would I like to travel to other places? Yeah, I would like to, you know, travel with countries. I'm really like looking forward. I'd really like to El Salvador, but very briefly. I'd like to go back to El Salvador, and I'd really like to go to Honduras and Nicaragua. It'd be really cool. But so there's that. Yeah, I would like to definitely travel some more. And the world is the world is my oyster. The world is your oyster. The world is everyone's oyster. So yeah, just go out and. But I really want to like travel as much as I can. I just love traveling ever since I was little. And yeah, so right now it's just in Mexico, mostly because of Binkies, my dog Binks. And he's getting older, so I can't leave him alone too long. And And yeah, that's one of the reasons why I came to Mexico in the first place, actually, was because I could bring beans. So for right now, we're in Mexico. We're exploring Mexico. I'm exploring Mexico. Excuse me. Have a great time doing it. And but in the future, in a couple of years, yeah, I'd love to see other places. Love to go other places and take all you guys along along the way. So, oh, frozen up. Am I still frozen, everybody, or am I coming in okay? How is the signal? I'm gonna take a break from talking a second and take a sip of water. Let me know how the signal is. I might be frozen. Okay. All right, I need to ground myself as well. I'm not used to doing the live streams. I feel like I need to always be talking. All right, I'm not going to keep this going on forever. So I do appreciate everybody joining and watching, but also I don't want to waste your time. But also I don't want to waste your time, and it's getting kind of long. So I'll try to move through the final parts pretty quickly. I put the insurance down. So I recommend their insurance. All the laws are pretty much the same. I mean, everything you would need in the United States, everything you would need to drive in the United States, you're going to need here in Mexico. So you're going to need insurance, you're going to need car registration. American, U.S. driver's license, foreign driver's license are accepted in Mexico. Do not let the crooked cops tell you otherwise. They will tell you otherwise. They have told me otherwise. They're just looking for. So driver's license is accepted. Foreign driver's license is accepted as long as it's valid. It has to be a valid driver's license, but it is accepted. So car registration, driver's license, insurance, and you're good to go. And then you'll need the temporary, if you have a foreign plated car, you'll need the temporary import permit. So just a quick word about the temporary import permit. I put a link below in the video description about a really detailed explanation of getting your temporary import permit. And so the idea with the temporary import permit is that any foreign plated car has to have this permit to come into the country. There are some exceptions in that the first 25 kilometers along the border with both sides, all around, is exempt. But I guess probably most of my more viewers are watching from the United States than from Guatemala. So 25 kilometers south of Guatemala is a free trade zone. So your car does not, if you go to like Tijuana or Reynosa or whatever, you're not going to need the temporary import permit. But if you go outside that free trade zone, and you will need a temporary import permit. Some other exemptions of that are Quintana Roo and also Baja California Norte and Baja California Sur are two states that are exempt. But anywhere else, most of the country, here in Mexico City, anywhere else, Guadalajara, anywhere, you're going to need the temporary import permit. And the police, if you have a foreign plated car, the police will stop you. They stop me every 2 or 3 months, 1, 2, or 3 months. Probably stopped a handful of times, 5, 6 times when I was living 2 years in Guadalajara. So the police will stop you. They will check on the temporary import permits. I kind of hate to say it, but more often than not, they're not checking explicitly on the import permit to make sure that you have it. They're trying to get money out of you. They're trying to shake you down. They're trying to basically extort you. So you want to have everything as much as you can in order. You want to be basically just as tight as possible. I mean, you want to relax and have a good time, and Mexican people are very relaxed and just have a wonderful time just in general, but you do need to have everything as much as you can in order, just to avoid the extortion. And if you can, press the cops on getting a ticket if you want to do that. But a lot of cops are looking for bribes, And it's just one of the sad realities and unfortunate, things about living, and driving in Mexico, is that a lot of police are going to be looking for bribes. So my advice is just to, have as much in order as you can. And, that's starting off with the temporary import permit. And so a good link on how to get that is in the video description below. How do you avoid paying bribes? Yeah, just have everything in order as much as you can. Do as much research as you can. Have your temporary import permit. You'll need to go to the Banjercito office just south of the border. There are lots of them all along the northern border, at least. And so you can probably you can Google Banjercito, and then that'll come up. And then, of course, like a lot of things, where the map on your phone will show it is not exactly where it is, so you'll need to ask around a bit about it. So, but you'll find it. You gotta find it, but you need to go to the Banjercito office and just ask around. People send you in the right way, and then that's where you get your temporary import permit. So you'll have and also another way to avoid extortion is to have your insurance. In Mexico City, it's a little bit different. The only thing that's really different here is that they have a program called Hoy No Circula, which is today, today you don't drive around. Today you don't drive around in your car. And it's just about the contamination. It's just a program to try to reduce contamination. So on some days, depending on the number your placa or license plate ends in, the final number of your license plate, you're restricted from driving for a day or 2 days or whatever the case may be. So, and then that's another thing that they can get you on. If you're driving, they are police and they do, stop. If you're in the right, you're in the right. You can push it. You can get you can really push it, and just insist and insist and insist. And if you know you're on the right, you insist and insist and insist. And not to pay a bribe, because if you're right, you're right. You're in the law. They can't do anything about it. So, that's the other flip side of avoiding paying bribes or being extorted. Just having everything as much as you can in order. It's not always 100% possible, because you can only research so much, and things like here in Mexico City, there are different policies and programs, or at least and then the police will say that there are. So you just really have to know as much as you can and prepare yourself as much to avoid being extorted. So okay. All right, thank you, Mexican. All right, thank you, Mexican. Canadian chef. It's really nice. All right, I'll go through a couple of these. So yeah, lastly, about the last thing I'll talk about. We're getting long into the video. I appreciate everybody watching, tuning in. Appreciate you guys' donations. Appreciate your likes, all that stuff. The last thing I'll talk about before we get off here is just the standard advice is if you're coming down. Oh, and for the temporary import permit, one of the things I did want to mention is that if you can only get a temporary import permit if you're coming down as a tourist. So you have a 90-day tourist visa or 180 days. I'm not sure which it is. But if you have a tourist visa, you can get the temporary import permit. So you can come down to Mexico City for, a long weekend. You'll need the temporary import permit to do that. Or if you have temporary residency is another way you get your temporary import permit. If you have permanent residence, you cannot get a temporary import. And if you have permanent residency and you want to import your car, it's technically possible, but nobody does it. It's just insanely difficult to do. You have to hire somebody. Maybe if you have a Maserati or a Ferrari, a car that's valued into 6 figures, maybe only then it might be it might be recommended to actually go through the process of importing a car. But aside from that, it's much better if you're on a permanent residency to sell your car in the United States and buy another car here in Mexico. One, you're going to draw a lot less attention with having a foreign plated car. You're not going to have to deal with all the tip business. And yeah, it's just easier. And it's just easier because like at the end of my residency visa, I'm going in like a year and a half. I'm going to need to make plans to go back to the U.S. to sell my car. So yeah, I mean, just kind of depends on everybody's situation. I'm glad I've brought my car down. I love like traveling around, exploring around. So just kind of depends on everybody's personal situations. So yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be it. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. Did want to mention one more thing. Oh yeah, filling up on gas. So yeah, let me just look at some of these comments. Thank you, Dee. Appreciate it. You too. Okay, so all right. Always somebody to correct you on any misspoken thing on YouTube. There's somebody that will tell you the right way it is. Part of YouTube. But anyway, thank you guys for your support. I really appreciate you guys. Fill up on gas would be just if you're driving, the last thing I would, advise is once you get to half a tank is when you need to start thinking about getting gas. So the gas stations tend to be more spread out. There's not as many gas stations along the drive. So just keep that in mind. You don't want to run out of gas, in the middle of nowhere. Stay to the toll roads. The toll roads, if you're on a toll road, it's not always possible to stick to the toll roads 100% of the time. But if you're on a toll road, try to stick to the toll roads first of all. And if you're on a toll road and have mechanical difficulty, or if you run out of gas, you can dial 078, and that will connect you to the Green Angels program. And that's a group of people that help out stranded motorists, and it's actually formed to help out tourists on the national tollway system. So they're a really good option. Save it in your phone, 078, if you're on the toll roads. So thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it. So have I paid a mordida? I have. I have paid a mordida. For better or worse. They've here in Mexico City. I made a video on that. Basically the end of the story there was I didn't feel safe. I was feeling very threatened. So I thought for my the best thing for my personal safety was just to pay the mordida and be done with it. It is what it is. And I have, it's up to really everybody kind of like, just to handle that situation the best you can. I mean, if you don't have to, don't, but I have. So anyway, I think that's going to be about it for this live stream. I don't think I have too much more to add. I think we've dealt with pretty much everything. So I definitely appreciate everybody watching, going actually into 40 minutes. I was thinking it would be a lot shorter than it's turned out to be. Okay, there it is. So, all right, well, yeah, thank you everybody so much for watching. I think that next time I do a live stream, I was thinking about doing a live stream on like residency visas. So I have my temporary residency, and I could, talk about temporary residency, permanent residency, all those different things. So, yeah, so let me know what you think. Again, thank you guys for all your support. I really appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios. Bye-bye.